Hello again. After learning a brief overview about the carsim and car maker, we will briefly touch upon how carsim and car maker contribute to the ADAS functionality development, or in other words, what is the role of carsim and car maker in ADAS functionality development. It may be any ADAS functionality. It may be adaptive cruise control or automatic emergency braking or blind spot detection or rear cross traffic alert. In any kind of any ADAS functionality development, these two tools play a very important role. Okay, now let's see. Advanced driver assistance systems require extensive testing under various driving conditions. Now this is something which I am sure all of you agree, and carsim and car maker, they play crucial roles in different stages of ADAS development, from algorithm design to validation. Role of carsim in ADAS development. Carsim specializes in high fidelity vehicle dynamic simulation, making it essential in developing and testing control based ADAS functionalities. Okay, now this is something which we already discussed. Carsim specializes in vehicle dynamics. That is something which I underlined or clearly emphasized in my previous videos. Now, how do these functions, how do these ADAS functions are used in developing using Carsim? Okay, what is, for example, if you take adaptive cruise control, it simulates the vehicle longitudinal dynamics like acceleration and braking, and it also models sensor inputs radar for distance measurement and validates PID and MPC controllers for smooth acceleration and deceleration. Especially this is very important. Let me underline this sentence. It validates PID and MPC control for smooth acceleration and deceleration, and this is especially important for electric vehicles. Okay, let me further highlight this. Validation of PID and MPC controller is extremely important. Next comes the electronic stability control and anti-lock braking systems. In this functionality, carsim simulates the tire road friction, weight transfer and braking forces. Now, anti-lock braking system is not exactly a very modern technology. It is a slightly mature technology. Not slightly, it is a very mature technology, and people who generated or developed this anti-lock braking system, they used carsim extensively because it has a clear advantages when it comes to vehicle dynamics, and it also tests the electric stability control algorithms to prevent skidding during sharp turns. It validates ABS performance on different road surfaces. Okay, it validates ABS performance on, as I said, the types of different roads, whether it is snowy or wet or extremely hot. All these things are clearly simulated when it for validating the ABS performance on different road surfaces. Now let's touch upon lane keeping assist. When it comes to lane keeping assist, what is the role played by the carsim? This models carsim models the steering dynamics and vehicle response, because the most important actuator when it comes to lane keeping assisting is steering. This is the most important actuator, and the most important sensor is camera. I am sure you know that. Test control algorithms for smooth lane keeping. It simulates road curvature and lane markings for validation. Autonomous emergency braking. Role of carsim. It simulates collision scenarios with different deceleration profiles. It validates braking algorithms for avoiding positives and negatives. Understand this carefully. In autonomous braking, this simulation of collision scenarios is extremely important. Okay, and moreover, this is a very important critical functionality, because failure of this functionality can lead to fatality. Failure of this function can lead to fatality, and that's why it is ASIL D. Next comes the traction control and torque vectoring for EVs. Role of carsim: models electric motor responses and power distribution. Test torque vectoring for improved cornering and stability. Alright, now what are the main advantages when it comes to carsim? As I already emphasized, vehicle dynamics is the biggest advantage. That's the reason if you see in the functionalities where vehicle dynamics plays a very important role, like electronic stability control or anti-lock braking system, carsim is extensively used. And of course, it is hardware in loop compatibility is there, pre-built vehicle models is there. This very much drastically reduces the development time. it has a limited sensor simulation. Well, this is a given or a written writing on the wall that carsim has a limited similar sensation. That's the reason it needs integration with other tools like carmaker. Now again, with carmaker I will also explain how some functionalities are developed. Just be patient, but it is perfectly integratable with carmaker. And let's focus on traffic scenarios. Now this is not exactly a tool which can produce or simulate the complex urban driving simulations. Well, anybody who any Indian who drove on Indian cars, for example in a city like Bombay or Delhi or Chennai, knows how complex urban driving simulations are. Pedestrians keep crossing haphazardly, uh, bikers they keep overtaking from the left, vehicles keep overtaking from the left, autos suddenly they cut into your lane. All these haphazard traffic scenarios, they make traffic usage, traffic simulating the traffic scenario very complicated and very difficult. Okay, and for that purpose car maker is not the ideal tool. Now let's see what is the role of car maker. Now before I emphasize this, let me tell you something which you already know. Car maker has a clear advantage when it comes to sensor simulation, and that is the reason we are going to touch upon the functionalities where sensor simulation or sensor plays a very important role. Okay, first important functionality is traffic sign recognition. Now traffic sign recognition, the most important sensor is, well, I am sure you know what it is. It is camera. Definitely not radar, definitely not ultrasonic, definitely not LiDAR. It is camera, because camera is the sensor when it comes to classification and identification. Okay, so understanding the color, understanding the pattern, you can be done only with the help of camera. And this traffic sign recognition is extremely camera dependent functionality. And role of car maker: generate synthetic camera images with realistic signs, traffic lights, pedestrians, and validates deep learning based object detections algorithms. Adaptive cruise control with stop and go. Role of car maker: what is the role of car maker? It simulates complex traffic scenarios. Now, as I said, unlike carsim, car maker is capable of simulating complex traffic scenarios. And also, because of its higher, better sensor simulation, it tests radar and LiDAR sensor fusion for accurate distance measurement. Next comes the lane departure warning and lane change assist. And I am sure both of you, all of you know that again camera is the most predominant sensor which is helping in these two functionalities. Role of car maker: simulates the lane marking, road edges and highway merges. And it also validates the camera based lane detection algorithm. This validation, which happens in the SIL, software in the loop, is perfectly integratable with car maker. Now in case all of you feel slightly overwhelmed by what I am talking, all these things, once you start working in any OEM or any tier 1 or tier 2, all these things will definitely fall in the place. So in case you are slightly overwhelmed, don't get intimidated. Nothing is rocket science. I am sure once you start working on this, you will get a clear cut idea and a clear cut grasp about what I am talking. Next comes the automated parking. Role of car maker: models parking lot environments with static dynamic obstacles, tests ultrasonic sensor and camera fusion with parking path planning. Highway pilot, again this is a level 3, level 2, level 3 autonomy. Some companies, some OEMs, they designate highway pilot as L2 plus, L2 plus autonomy. And for developing L2 plus autonomy, highway simulation with lane changes and merging is perfectly compatible. Simulation this highway is perfectly compatible when it comes to car maker. It also validates sensor fusion like radar plus LiDAR plus camera for decision making. Alright, and main advantage is high fidelity sensor models. It supports Euro NCAP and NHTSA test cases. Now, why is this Euro NCAP so important? This is actually a regulation, failure of which you cannot sell the vehicle in the market. So this is a government regulation which must be complied under any circumstances. Okay, let me highlight this. This is a government regulation which must be complied under any circumstances, failure of which you won't be able to sell the vehicle in the market. That's the reason this has such an important place in the development. And what is the computationally intensive requires this is the main limitation. It is computationally intensive. It requires very powerful hardware. Now this is something which I said in the previous video also. Because of the higher processing power, you require a very high order workstation to work on this car maker. And when it comes to vehicle dynamics, it may need coupling with carsim for chassis control. To develop chassis control, or to develop, in case you want to integrate with a vehicle dynamic predominant functionality like electronic stability control or anti-lock braking system, you need to couple it with carsim for chassis control. Now, I won't go much into this. I request all of you to pause the video and do one-to-one comparison, whether it is control algorithm or sensor simulation or hill testing or scenario testing. Now, this is something I request all of you to pause the video and clearly understand the one-to-one comparison, how each tool, whether it is car sim or car maker, play in the development of the ADAS functionality. So, in conclusion, carsim is best for vehicle dynamics and car maker is best for sensor simulation. That's the reason I gave some examples: adaptive cruise control, electronic stability, automatic emergency braking, where vehicle dynamics plays a very important role. There carsim is better off, and in car maker is better off when it comes to traffic sign recognition, lane departure warning, highway pilot. But as I said in the previous video, many OEMs are using both together. And by leveraging these tools, with the help of these tools, engineers can accelerate development, improve safety, and reduce costs in ADAS and autonomous vehicle program. Okay, I hope all of you understood how pivotal carsim and car maker in developing a ADAS functionality. As all of you know, simulation is a very important vertical or important block of the ADAS functionality development, and within that block, carsim and car maker play an extremely important role. Okay, thank you.